Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here to, dig into your source material, pull out the key stuff, and give you that edge on what's really moving the needle. And today, we're tackling a big one, a major shift in how we learn and how content gets made. We're talking about edutainment.
Mm-hmm.
You've probably felt it yourself, right? Those short videos, maybe interactive things online, teaching you pretty advanced stuff way faster than any textbook did back in the day.
Exactly. That's the trend right there.
That perfect blend, or, well, sometimes tricky blend, of education and entertainment.
And our goal today for you listening is really to unpack this. Like, what is edutainment fundamentally? Why is it blowing up right now in 2025? How are the pros, creators, teachers actually using it? And maybe most importantly, how can you use this whole movement to learn basically anything faster?
Okay, let's nail down the core idea first. Edutainment? It sounds simple enough.
It is at its heart. You take structured learning, real information, and you mix it with things that are genuinely engaging. Entertainment elements. The whole point is getting the lesson across while making sure the audience is actually, leaning in, not just passively zoning out.
Engagement is the key word there.
It absolutely is. And when you look at the sources, the really successful examples, think about those amazing science videos from Kurzgesagt.
Oh, yeah. The animations are incredible.
Right, or even some of the big educational challenges people like Mr. Beast put together. The audience isn't just like absorbing facts. They're actually enjoying the process. They want to watch.
And it's not just for kids anymore, which is a huge shift mentioned in the material. That's changed, hasn't it?
Massively. Used to be Saturday morning cartoons, basically. But now, 2025, the research is clear. Adults are all over this. They're using these same formats, short, punchy videos, great visuals, storytelling, to get their heads around really complex stuff.
Like what specifically?
Oh, everything. Learning new AI tools for work, figuring out crypto or investment strategies, even like deep dives into psychology for self-improvement, all through this edutainment lens.
So the big question then is, why? Why now? Why are the old ways, the, hour-long boring lectures just not cutting it anymore?
Yeah, and why does this mix of learning and fun work so well?
Yeah.
It goes right down to our psychology, our brains.
Okay.
It's about optimizing for how we're actually built. The human brain, fundamentally, it's wired for survival, for paying attention to what seems important or engaging, not really for just memorizing lists of facts passively.
Right. We remember stories, things that grab us.
Exactly. We are biologically tuned to notice things with strong visuals, things with emotional weight, or things told as a story, with some kind of tension or arc. So when you deliver information with, say, humor, or through a narrative, or with cool animations, the brain doesn't file it under boring work.
It files it under interesting input.
Pretty much. Yeah, this is fun, or this is relevant. And that actually helps neurologically. It boosts plasticity, helps consolidate memories long term.
So it's like a hack. Instead of fighting our brain's tendency to wander off when bored, edutainment leans into it, makes the learning itself feel rewarding.
That's a great way to put it. A cognitive reward. You're turning a chore into something that gives you a little dopamine hit.
Ah, the dopamine hit.
Yeah, reward-based learning, essentially.
Right.
You couple the educational bit with that positive feeling, that engagement, and you get this loop. You enjoy it, so you remember it better, so you seek out more.
It's a really powerful engine for learning.
Incredibly powerful, especially for continuous, lifelong learning.
And you see that playing out with these educational channels. They aren't just listing facts about, say, history or economics.
No, they tell a story about it. They frame it. They can take something super complex, like, I don't know, the causes of WWI or macroeconomic theory.
And make it stick in 5-10 minutes.
Right, with a narrative arc that you actually remember later.
Okay, this is fascinating. But now let's layer in the tech angle, because the sources say this is where things get really interesting. This boom isn't just about people getting better at storytelling. AI is playing a massive role, accelerating everything.
AI is the supercharger here, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's what's making this whole shift possible on a huge scale. Think of it as democratizing production.
Democratizing? How
Right.
so?
Well, think back. Making a really polished, visually engaging video to explain something complex. That used to need a whole team, right? Animators, editors, sound guys.
Yeah.
Big budget, lots of time.
Yeah, definitely not something one person could easily do.
But now, AI tools are making it so that almost anyone can create pretty sophisticated edutainment content. No fancy studio needed.
Okay, so the barrier to entry just plummeted. If you've got the knowledge, the idea, AI can handle a lot of the heavy lifting on the production side.
Exactly. The friction is way lower.
But how? What specific things can AI do for creators in this space? The sources mentioned 4 key areas.
Yeah, 4 main things jump out. First, scripting and research. AI can help gather info, structure it, even suggest narrative angles, like super fast.
Okay, that saves a ton of prep time. What's
Yeah.
second?
Second is the visual side, which is so crucial for engagement. AI can generate animations, motion graphics, data visualizations, basically turning dry info into something eye-catching without you needing to be an After Effects wizard.
Instant visuals. Got it. Third.
Third, sound and voice. Think high-quality voiceovers generated by AI, or even virtual presenters, AI avatars. This opens things up for people who have the knowledge but maybe, aren't comfortable on camera.
That's huge. Removes a major hurdle for many experts.
Okay, and the fourth one.
Fourth, and this is maybe the really big one long term, is personalization. AI can analyze how you, the viewer, are interacting with the content and then adapt it on the fly. Change the pacing, use different examples, go deeper or simpler based on what you seem to need. We're moving towards truly customized learning paths. That's wow. That's potentially revolutionary. But okay, I have to play devil's advocate for a second. A concern that comes up.
Go for it.
If AI makes it so easy to produce flashy, fast-paced stuff, is there a danger that edu part gets watered down? Does the substance suffer? All sizzle, no steak.
That's a really valid point, and yeah, the sources definitely touch on this. It's a real tension. There's pressure to simplify, maybe sacrifice some nuance for speed and engagement.
Right.
However, the general thinking is this. In today's world, the biggest hurdle is just getting and keeping attention. Retention. If you create the most brilliant, nuanced lesson ever, but nobody watches it past the first 30 seconds.
It's useless.
Totally ineffective. So edutainment, when it's done well, is seen as the gateway.
Yeah.
It grabs the attention, makes that initial connection, helps someone grasp the core idea. Then, if they're hooked, they can choose to go deeper, find more detailed resources. It's not necessarily about replacing deep study, but maximizing that crucial first step,
Yeah.
the initial knowledge transfer.
Okay, that makes sense. It's the hook to get people in the door for learning.
Exactly.
So let's zoom out then. We've talked creators, we've talked tech. Where else is this shift showing up? What about big institutions, schools, companies?
Yeah, the impact is spreading wide. It's becoming kind of a baseline expectation now. This isn't just some niche internet trend anymore. It feels like a new standard for how teaching happens.
A new standard for pedagogy.
Right. In schools, for instance, they're moving away from just talk and chalk. They're bringing in gamified platforms, using high-quality YouTube videos that explain things well, using AI tools to help craft more engaging stories around curriculum topics.
Making history or science feel more alive.
Exactly. And it's not just schools. Look at corporate training.
Oh, yeah. How's it changing there?
Companies are ditching those endless, boring PowerPoint decks for simulation games, interactive scenarios,
Right.
things where employees actually do something and learn by trying.
And does it work better?
The results seem pretty immediate.
Yeah.
Better skill uptake. People are actually more engaged in the training, less likely to just click through.
Makes sense. And what about just regular people learning on their own?
Same story. Platforms like Coursera, Skillshare, they're putting more emphasis on that narrative structure, the interactive bits, precisely because they know it helps people stick with longer, more demanding courses.
So the conclusion is pretty clear then. Edutainment isn't just a fad.
Not at all. It seems to be the direction things are heading. It's becoming the way we expect to learn and teach effectively.
Which brings us nicely to the really practical part of this deep dive. Okay, everyone listening, how can you actually use this? Whether you're making stuff, learning stuff, or teaching stuff, the sources had some specific advice, right?
Yep, broken down by role. So first, if you're a creator, maybe a speaker, an expert wanting to share knowledge, someone building online courses, your job is to think story first. Use humor if it fits. Definitely use strong visuals. Find those narrative hooks, even for serious topics, finance, compliance, whatever.
Make the topic the center of a story people care about.
Exactly. Make them feel invested in understanding it.
Okay, now what if you're on the other side? You're the student, the learner.
For you, the advice is, be intentional. Actively look for learning resources that feel engaging, even fun. Don't feel guilty if the flashy YouTube channel teaches you better than the dry textbook.
Lean into it.
Yeah. You're basically using your brain's own preferences to your advantage. You'll remember stuff better if you actually enjoy the process of learning it. Work with your brain, not against it.
Love that. Okay, finally, what about the teachers, the coaches, the managers? Anyone responsible for training others?
For you folks, the call to action is really to rethink how you structure lessons. Move away from just passively dumping information. Try integrating games, quick quizzes, interactive elements, and frame your core points around real stories, anecdotes, case studies that make it relatable and memorable.
Less lecture, more guided experience.
Precisely. Because the underlying principle here, the thing that ties it all together, is simple but powerful. People might forget lists of facts or abstract concepts, but they rarely forget a good story. The story is the vehicle. It carries the knowledge.
So, edutainment. It's really this convergence of understanding our brains better and having the tech tools to actually deliver learning in a way that fits how we work.
A revolution in learning driven by neuroscience and AI, essentially. Reshaping what effective knowledge transfer looks like.
Yeah. And that leaves us with a final thought, something for you to chew on after this deep dive. If we now know, pretty conclusively, that the best way for our brains to really grab onto and keep new important information is through these engaging, maybe even emotional stories, what's our responsibility now? Do we have an obligation to fundamentally change all those old school passive learning settings? Think about the weekly staff meeting update, the giant intro college lecture. If storytelling is truly the best way to teach, what's the real cost of not transforming them? What happens if institutions just keep relying on methods we know don't really work for attention and retention?
Something to think about.
Definitely something to think about. We'll leave it there for this deep dive.